gentlemen, Mike Beer taking a look at race number 8 at Keeneland on Friday. Here's the field for the Myrtlewood Stakes. These are 2-year-old fillies going 3/4 of a mile. And Mike, you got a couple of horses dropping out of the grade 1 Frisette. The one Jester calls No Joy, the 2 Jomira. They were no match for Echo Zulu. You shouldn't probably hold that against them.
Yeah, I don't think you want to be too hard on them for that, just a race where they basically had no chance with Echo Zulu. I think they're both, viable rebound candidates here, Dan, and one of them is actually going to be a big price.
Jester calls No Joy is going to be the shorter price, and she's going to be likely closer to the pace, according to the Timeform US pace projector, the Timeform US pace projector, well, they believe that this pace is going to be run very quickly. The 5 Can't Believe It is fast. The 9 Chi-Town Lady is a Wesley Ward trained 2-year-old. They're usually fast. Jester calls No Joy was on the lead in her first 2 starts. So there could be some hitting up front. The 6 Very Little Sense says speed.
Yeah, I felt like there could definitely be a fast pace in this race, certainly a fair pace. I don't think they're going to go slow up there, Dan. We'll see, who comes out sending and who's just, sort of looking for a spot.
So we talked about Jester Calls No Joy's last race, the Frisette. She was no match for Echo Zulu. Let's talk about her 2 starts at Saratoga. Her debut going 6 furlongs. She did have a clear lead. She wasn't able to hold on. I thought all in all she ran okay. And then in her second start going 7/8 over a wet track, she just dominated a weaker field.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I sort of look at it the same way. I thought she was, okay in her debut. I didn't, love that performance. She did, make the lead pretty easily in that race. You could just sort of tell when they came into the stretch that she wasn't going to last, and she got caught, coming to the wire there and to settle for second. When she broke her maiden in her second start, I mean, she obviously looked good winning that day, but she just got absolutely loose on the lead in there. That's obviously not going to happen in here, Dan. So I just think it remains open to question how good she actually is, and she's going to be a short price.
Jumeirah turning back to a sprint and dropping in class could really help. She won her career debut sprinting in a live race that produced several next out winners. She was stakes placed around 2 turns, finishing ahead of the horse that beat Jester Calls No Joy in that one's debut. And then the Frisette, a race where you could probably draw a line. She's interesting at a price.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I wanted to throw her in there, mostly just because I liked her debut. I thought she actually ran really well to win that race. And I didn't even think her sorority was that bad, just chasing sort of a dominant front-running winner in there and settling for second. I thought she ran okay. And I just like her cutting back in distance for this. They've only sprinted her once, and I think it's the best race she's run by far.
The 3 is She's Pure Silver. She's only raced once previously on dirt. That resulted in a gate-to-wire gambit at Thistledown. Last time out, Presque Isle Downs, synthetic surface, cooked on a fast pace. I won't hold that against her. She still has a lot to prove, however, against this tougher group. She did beat the boys at Thistle.
She did. She is 1 for 1 on dirt in her career. It's just not a fast race, and it is, worth pointing out that it was a wire-to-wire win. And boy, using her speed in this race may not work out so well.
Blazing Summer, the 4, was a pace-pressing winner of her career debut, but that race was at 5.5 on the turf at Ellis Park. She's by Summer front. They like the turf.
Yeah, it is more of a turf sire. She did run well. I actually liked her debut quite a bit. I don't know what that means for with her coming to dirt for her second start, but it's definitely an interesting spot for a very good trainer.
Can't Believe It went off at 9-1 for her career debut, and the Cantharos filly just showed good speed for a barn that wins first time out. And this horse was pretty game to take him all the way out there. Timeform US believes she's the speed of the speed.
I mean, listen, I liked her debut. She broke from the inside that day. You could tell that Tyler Gaffney wanted to lead with her. He rode her from the gate, and she got up there to make the pace, took some pressure from a long shot on the lead. But I thought she stayed very gamely in there. The horse that was second to her was an odds-on favorite, bearing down on her through the stretch, and this filly never let that horse by.
The 6 Very Little Sense goes turf to dirt, route to sprint, stakes placed last time out at Kentucky Downs, but let's concentrate on her win at Ellis, 2 starts back on dirt. Maybe not the prettiest win in the world. It looked like she had some trouble taking the turns, bearing out a little bit. She'll continue to drift in the stretch, and she continues to hold sway. It was a fast race, a 75 Beyer speed figure coming off the heels of a solid 70 Beyer, so she has the figs to make her competitive. I kind of wish she was a little bit prettier in some of these races.
Yeah, me too. Like this kind of feels like maybe she's still figuring the game out there. Sorry, she was sort of all over the track there, winning that last dirt race, but she's already a stakes winner. She's won her last two starts on the main track. As you said, her figures make her competitive in here. We'll see what kind of price she is, Dan, and then we'll see what kind of trip she can get it because she's another one who wants to be involved early in her races, and this could be a fast pace.
6-1 on the morning line seems like a very appealing price on the 7 Majestic Dioro, a debut winner at Indiana Grand for Brendan Walsh. She looked very good coming from off the pace in that race. That running style would work well in here. She was tested last time out in the Pocahontas, and they tried to win the race. They went after the very impressive Hidden Connection on the lead in earnest through the second turn, and she understandably tired. I think she's a very intriguing horse in this race.
I do too. Definitely a horse I want to be using in here. I really liked her debut. I know it was at Indiana Grand and maybe not against, the strongest group of horses, but she looked pretty green early in that race. Once she got switched out to the clear for this stretch, though, she took that race over very easily, was basically ridden out at the end of that race. I thought that was an impressive win, and I like her cutting back.
You Look Cold, the number 8, is 2 for 2 sprinting in her career, including a stakes score at Presque Isle over the Tapeta last time. Now, the runner-up in that race came into the stake as a maiden, but in her next start, she did graduate at Parks with a 68 buyer. I like her tactical speed. This will be the toughest test of her career.
Yeah, just a big step up in class. She doesn't really have many figures to back her up, but she's 2 for 2 sprinting in her career. Coming back to dirt's not supposed to be a problem for her, and she's going to be a price.
Really interesting spot for the 9. Chi-Town Lady for Wesley Ward, who was a debut winner in the race we're going to show you right now at Keeneland. She's 1-5, as many Wesley Ward 2-year-olds are during the Keeneland spring meeting, and she wins easily over a field that I think you could call questionable at best. It took her a while to get back to the races. I really liked the way she won the Bolton's Landing at Saratoga, stumbling at the start, splitting horses, getting a nice split, turning them to the stretch, and drawing away. She just didn't fire last time out on the turf against the boys. I kind of think she might be better on the turf, Mike.
I wonder, I think it's a real question, especially in this race. She was obviously impressive winning her career debut, way back in April. I don't really know what that means, Dan, but she certainly looked good winning the race. And I thought her Bolton Landing was good. She was very disappointing last time. I guess that's why she's back on dirt here. I could go either way on her, but if she's going to take a lot of money in here, I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself how much you really trust her.
The 10 Sweet Danny Girl was 45-1 in her career debut, and she was ready and fit for action. She scored, and not only did she scored with an 84 buyer speed figure, which would make her very strong in this race. And she came out of that race with a bullet workout at Keeneland, which allays fears of a regression. This horse has passed horses in the stretch, and okay, she's going to be a fraction of the price she was in her debut, but she still could offer some value in here.
Yeah, I think that those things are probably true. I'm not going to worry too much about the big price she went off in her career debut. I mean, at the end of the day, she just, she ran the race that she ran, Dan. Didn't break that great from the gate in there, but never let herself get outrun. She was always sort of within range on the outside. And when she took over, she stayed pretty gamely at the end of that race. I just thought that she ran well, and I feel like she's a major player right back.
Towser completes this field, and Towser is a very well-bred filly, especially for turf, so it was no surprise that she debuted at Kentucky Downs, and she just had a terrible trip in that race. Justin Nixon, who's a very underrated trainer, ran her back at Laurel in this maiden special, and let's watch the way she kicked on home, because she did it very nicely. Towser gets to the outside here after creeping up on the turn and runs by the leaders. The runner-up was a minor next out winner. Again, this filly has a strong pedigree, maybe the right running style for this race, and certainly the big excuse in the debut on turf.
Yeah, I thought she was pretty interesting in here at a price. Dan, I just thought that she ran really well in this race. Switching to dirt for the first time, she actually broke really well from the gate. They just decided not to go up to the lead with her. They sat right in behind horses. She was very professional doing that. You saw him swing her out to the clear in the stretch there. I thought she won very easily. I think there's a lot of upside here for another horse who feels like she could just be a really big price in this race.
And let's take a look at our top picks. You've sort of telegraphed it with Towser, who's going to be a big price. Very little sense. I'm hoping you're right, and that maybe she's still trying to figure the game out. She's still a little goofy on the turns. I like her speed. I think she might be a decent price yet again in here. I don't know, Mike. This is a very wide open race. I thought Sweet Danny Girl coming off the big 45-1 fig is okay, but Majestic
Yeah.
Dioro to me is a horse I really want to use because I think the class and distance relief is going to help.
Me too. I almost put her on top. She does feel like, one of the horses who, will take money in here. I think deservedly so. I definitely want to use her, but I was just sort of more interested in Towser at a price in here, Dan. I just think maybe she ran even better than it looks last time, and I know she's going to be a price.
11, 7, 10, and 9 for Mike. Spread race for me, 6, 10, 7, 1 in the Myrtlewood at Keeneland on Friday. Good luck.